Hello, everyone. It's been a while that we do this, but I'm so super excited to be back again with an amazing guest joining us all the way from South Africa today to share our aquaponics journey with us. So excited to have her at home. I followed her journey on social media. I work on the YouTube. She has been doing an amazing job in the aquaponics space, and I'm really excited to finally have her in the house today. Is not that person at all, rather than Gugulethu from South Africa. He owned an aquaponics farm, and it's really an amazing time for us to have him. He's going to be sharing a journey, our experience running an aquaponics farm in South Africa with us this evening. Do well to stay behind. Watch the end. It's going to be an amazing time. You're going to learn a lot. So stay tuned and watch the end. Without further ado, let's take it from here. So it's good to have you in the house first of all, and then I want to say my first question to you is you've really inspired a lot of people, a lot of young people have looked up to you based on what you've been doing in the space with aquaponics. But I want to ask, what inspired you to start an aquaponics farm, especially as a lady? What inspired you to start an aquaponics farm?
Hi, Kenneth, and everyone on the show tonight. I'm really excited to be here. So, my name is Gugulethu Mahlangu, and I started my farming journey back in 2017. And I started off volunteering. I didn't have any practical education or knowledge prior. It was just something that I always wanted to do. And I started my business in 2020, but we all know that we had a COVID pandemic. It started in 2020. And fortunately, with my business, it was deemed as an essential service because I am feeding the nation. So I was allowed to travel and still operate within my business because we are an essential service. And I think that's when I actually realized that I'm in the right space, I'm in the right business. And I had an opportunity because back in 2020, they were profiling a lot of small scale farmers and finding out how they are managing with the COVID-19 pandemic. And I had CGT in Africa come visit my farm, and it was absolutely amazing. However, there was a mistake within their caption. They wrote aquaponics farmer in South Africa. And at that time, I wasn't doing aquaponics. I was renting a Johannesburg farm that was 14 hectares, and I was doing spinach, bush beans, and that was my forte. So I don't know where they got the aquaponics caption, but that's what they did. So from then, there were German investors coming into South Africa to invest in South Africa. And they said that we are looking for aquaponics farmers. And they saw my video and they said, well, would you like to be hired? And to be honest with everybody on the show, I had made a lot of rookie mistakes starting off my business. And I felt that it would be wise for me just to pause my business and perhaps go learn a new skill. And then I can come back and resume my business. So that is how I got into aquaponics. It was completely by accident. And I worked at the aquaponics farm with the German investors for about a year. And then I started my own aquaponics farm. So I kind of stumbled into it. I know you asked me what inspired me, but
No,
yeah,
that's
that's
really
the
fine. Thank
story.
you very much. Thank you very much, first of all, for sharing your story. I think the first question would have been, tell us about yourself. Let's get to meet you more deeper. And thank you very much for taking us through your journey and how you find yourself in aquaponics farm. And then yes, but take it off from there. Now you've shared some of your journey with us, your experience on how you find yourself in the aquaponics space. Can you just take it a bit further and maybe in 1 minute or two and tell us what is now you've shared with us that you find yourself in that space, let's say by mistake, like according to you. But how has it been so far? Yes. I think that will be the next question I should ask now. You've been able to hear your journey into it. You came in by mistake. But so far, how has it been? How has been the journey so far with you being in the aquaponics and especially being a lady in the space? How has it been so far for you?
Look, Kenneth, it's been absolutely rewarding for me because I feel that technology is easily adopted by the youth, and especially women. And, agriculture still has a very negative stigma, I think, across Africa, to say that it is for the uneducated, it's for the poor men and women, and it isn't a profession that is deemed with a lot of respect amongst Africans sometimes. So when I got into aquaponics, I realized that I can rely heavily on technology, and I don't need to be out on the fields all day and work as hard as all the farmers work. And I can leverage on technology to help make my decision making much more efficient. We had sensors on the farm. We have sun-up switches to maintain water levels. We leveraged on renewable energies with solar, and we had state-of-the-art technology. And I was like, wow, it's so simple to farm in a way that is smart, because with the fish, they are very integral in terms of aquaponics, and they give us our free fertilizer. So you need to take care of them. So we had sensors and switches. If anything goes wrong, we get a notification on our phone to say that, hey, the fish water levels are low or they are high, and we're able to immediately act and avoid a loss with the fish. So it's experiences like that for me that really attracted me as a lady. And I think I mentioned that you don't have to be in the fields all day. Hey, so as you guys can see, it's aquaponics is sheltered. You are under a greenhouse, you're under a shade net, and you kind of are shaded, and you are able to farm smarter in a very small space of land and maximize that for profit, which I think is absolutely amazing, especially in South Africa, where land
Mm.
is a touchy subject. So it's great to know that you can still be a farmer even if you don't have hectares and hectares or acres of land. You can still maximize the space and leverage on smart systems like aquaponics. So for me, it was fun. It was like, wow,
Good.
this is great. I can be flexible. I can still have a life a bit, and I can also still farm. So it was exciting. I grabbed it with both hands.
Great. I'm happy to hear that. But for those people who are joining us today, they don't understand what is aquaponics again. Like these guys are just using jargons. Can you break to us? Explain to the audience what's aquaponics. What do we mean by aquaponics?
Aquaponics, guys. Every time you see or hear aquaponics, please remember that it is a system. It is a method of farming, right? And how it
Yes.
works is that you are using water as your soil.
Mm-hmm.
So in aquaponics farming, we do not use soil, right? So we have a system that basically uses aquaculture and horticulture in a symbiotic fashion. So you are able to grow your crops in water, and that water comes from your fish that are always submerged and swimming in and living in water. So it is a system that allows the fish waste to get funneled into the water where your plants are and fertilize your plants. So, and the middleman to do that is bacteria. So some people ask me, hey, Google, isn't fish waste too toxic for the plants? And they're absolutely correct. So the bacteria are the middlemen that help break down the process of nitrogen, where the plants can use up available nitrogen from the fish waste. So it is a method of farming that is circular. It recycles the water. It doesn't waste water, and it is a method that you can adopt anywhere in the world. So that is what aquaponics is. Typically, people grow a lot of leafy greens. I think if you Google now aquaponics, you will see lettuce, you will see a lot of greens, but you can grow just about anything, and you can use different types of freshwater fish. So such as tilapia. Some people also use catfish. Personally, I use catfish as well, and koi. So there's different types of fish that you can use that can give you your free fertilizer. And yeah, that's what aquaponics is.
So let me ask, what's the benefit of aquaponics compared to our traditional or conventional way of farming? What are the benefits of aquaponics methods over traditional farming method? Yeah.
So the first thing for me is maximizing space. With aquaponics, it's a plug and play. I can erect an aquaponics farm pretty much anywhere. So I can have a system in the desert. I can, or maybe not the desert, but because you don't
Yeah.
have water. But I
Yes.
can
Yes.
in dry areas and or semi-arid areas and hot areas, cold areas, because you are leveraging heat zones of your greenhouses, and you are maximizing space. As I mentioned before, most people in South Africa, especially if you're a first generational farmer, you might not have the luxury of owning a piece of land that you can farm traditionally or conventionally. So with aquaponics, it allows you to, even if you're in the city, you can erect a structure and grow food that is closer to the people. That for me is the first benefit, is that you can erect it anywhere. You are able to maximize limited space. Thirdly, it recycles water. One thing I love about aquaponics is that it saves 90% of water compared to traditional farmers. So the water keeps getting recycled because the fish waste gets secreted. The plants, plants do what plants do. They purify, they clean that, and they send fresh water back to the fish. So nothing gets lost. So that's what I love about it, that you can recycle the water, especially in South Africa, where water is still very much a precious resource that we need to actually start saving and recycling. And another thing is that you're able to grow a variety of food. And currently, I'm focused on indigenous crops that I grow aquaponically, which has been so exciting for me because, if you're under a structure, an aquaponic structure like you see here, you are able to extend growing seasons. You are able to plant something and it grows much quicker than it would if it was in an open field, for instance. So there's so much that you can leverage on it. You can grow just about anything. And it is also, lastly, pesticide free. We don't use any harmful chemicals.
Mm.
I think we're not allowed to say that we are organic because the Organic Association can come for you, but we are pesticide free. We don't use any pesticides, and the food is just as nutritious as fresh. And yeah, the world is your oyster if
No,
you have an aquaponic system.
I'm really happy to hear that in aquaponics they don't use pesticide. A lot of people are scared. Is it healthy? Does it have those normal nutrients? If it's planted to the soil? A lot of people have those kind of conversation. I'm really happy you mentioned that you don't need pesticide, and it's pesticide free, so to say. But let me ask, what have been your challenges building your aquaponics farm or being in this space? What have been some of your challenges you've experienced, especially first of all as a lady and generally as a farmer, farming bringing it bringing a new system to the space? What have been your challenges?
Kenneth, sorry,
Yes, go ahead.
my first challenge
Yeah.
is, and I think a lot of farmers can agree with me, is lack of funding.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to aquaponics, the capex just to build an aquaponics system is really um, it is costly. But thankfully, there's a lot of aquaponics farmers in South Africa as well, and I think we are starting to localize aquaponics, meaning that we can access the building materials much cheaper here in South Africa. So we are trying to lower the costs of aquaponics. But currently, I think if anyone now Googles aquaponics farm, they are going to see state of the art facilities.
Mm.
And those facilities, yes, like that, where I used to work, and those facilities, where I used to work, it was German investors, so I guess they had the financial muscle, but it is costly to start it up, especially if you want the state of the art facilities with the technology, with an oxygen generator, with renewable energy, and you off grid. It is going to cost you a lot of money. So that has been my challenge, actually accessing funding, and it's still my challenge even today.
I think
And the second challenge, Kenneth, is market access.
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really, yeah, that's the second challenge for me, is market access, because currently, as an aquaponics farmer, you have a new offering, right? You have this food that's grown differently, and
Mhm.
you have invested your time and effort, and you are able to grow it faster, meaning you are able to harvest. We harvest every week, right? So you are able to harvest every week. You're able to deliver products, as you say. If I can tell my off takers that I'm going to have your product by the end of the month, I have the assurance of that because I'm doing it aquaponically. Nothing can go wrong. Climate change does not really affect me much. I am in an enclosed environment, right? So I can make that promise to my off takers. But what I'm noticing is that I am competing with other farmers, but I'm a different farmer. So
Mhm.
getting the right prices and has been a challenge for me. Just to kind of segment myself as an aquaponics farmer, to say, consumers, I am giving you a new offering. It is made with love. We harvest every day. We can feed this to you and your community. We're a team of 3 or 4, and we've grown this closer to you guys, so you don't have to rely on food that's coming, in other provinces or other places. These are my costs. This is the price. And it is a challenge because people don't know what aquaponics is. So it's like, how can they support you when they don't know what you're doing? So that is something that I have experienced myself. Those are my challenges: funding and market access. And I think training, aquaponics is quite technical, and I'm a lady, and I don't want to be sexist, but I'm going to speak for myself. I've never grown
Go
up in
ahead.
an
Take the
environment
floor.
that
Yeah.
was very no, I'm speaking from my own experience, because other ladies, they can do it, but I can't. And it's been challenging fixing pumps, fixing cables, and getting fittings, and having to do labor that you've never been exposed to, having, motors, burnout, all these technicalities that I've faced as a female have been challenging, but very rewarding, because now I can do it. At first, I couldn't. So
Hmm. I mean,
those
it's
were my
good to hear.
challenges. Mm.
It's good to hear some of those challenges, and I think for a lot of people, they get to experience. Most of the architect founders have interviewed. Most of them have faced issues of fundings, but I'm happy to take it a bit further to marketing, access to market being a challenge too, and that's really good. We hope in the coming decade, people should embrace aquaponics, people should embrace new method of farming, and let's not just hold on to how we used to farm. And it must be how we used to farm. We have to stick to how we used to farm. And I think we should be able to upgrade, accept new method, new technologies, and go with it. But my other questions to you will be, what skills or knowledge do you think are the most crucial or most important that people need to have before they move into aquaponics farming?
I think anyone can be an aquaponics farmer, because, like I
Mhm.
mentioned, we are leveraging on technology, and now
Yeah.
there's the the powerful AI. Anyone can
Yes.
do anything now that AI is here. So I really believe that if you are very passionate about it, you can do it just off the bat. It's obviously going to be a trial and error, but you can do it. But I think a farming background can be to your advantage if you at least understand farming. Because just because I'm growing in aquaponics doesn't mean that I am devoid of farming practices. I still follow farming practices. I still have to make sure that I'm, um, not necessarily fertilizers, but foliar spraying, irrigation, pest management, and currently we've removed all our winter crops and we are busy with summer crops. Because it's going to get hot, and imagine it's much hotter in a greenhouse. So farming practices are still practiced in aquaponics. But if you wanted to start, I would say get yourself a mentor, whether that
Mhm.
mentor is an aquaculture expert, whether that mentor understands plumbing, whether that mentor understands electricity. You need to have all these key players with you, because with aquaponics, it is a running system. And that means you need energy 24/7. So a lot of people are leveraging on renewable energy. They have solar on their farm. We have batteries, inverters on our farm, because we want to make sure that oxygen is readily available for our fish and our plants. Our fish are healthy, our plants are happy. So, we need energy to do that. So I don't come from an energy background. I needed to leverage skills from people who understood what would be the best solar panel that I can use for the scale that I have. You would need somebody who understands water, pumps, aquaculture, somebody who's a fish expert to tell you, Gugu, unfortunately, you cannot keep this fish because it's invasive. You do not have a permit. So those are the kind of challenges. Or this fish is very demanding in terms of fish feed. Will you be able to afford it? So you need to just ask yourself the right questions. And I like to say that aquaponics feeds three things, right? It's water, energy, and food. So if you can get mentors on those three, you're on the right track. You have a foot up. So I don't want to discourage anybody from aquaponics. I think anybody who's passionate about it can absolutely do it.
That's good to hear. I mean, that's really good to hear. I'm happy you gave us hope that anybody can do it. Okay,
Yes.
but yes, that's really good. But so far, I know you've talked about. I have questions around finance. I've been how did you finance yourself? I have questions around how did you assess the market. But you've told us that somehow that these are some of the challenges you've experienced. But so far, have you been able to conduct manage the situations of financings? Have you been able to manage the situation of marketing? To see that
Mm.
you are still able to run efficiently without enough fundings, without enough market acceptability. But how have you been able to manage the situation so far?
So currently, I've leveraged on, like I mentioned, I started my business in 2020. So I've
Yes.
leveraged on my own personal savings, my business's savings. Friends and family have supported me. I've
Mm-hmm.
applied for
Great.
grant funding here as well. Yes, thank God for the family and the support, honestly. And I've leveraged on grant funding. Currently, in South Africa especially, there's a lot of support for innovators, and that's really exciting. So I'm always, on the internet, always on my phone, looking for opportunities that
Yeah.
I can still apply. And yeah, absolutely. As an entrepreneur, you never stop. So that's how I've managed to keep afloat. And in terms of market access, it's very
Yeah.
hard to market tilapia fish in South Africa. I have to be honest. South Africa is a chicken eating nation. But everybody speaks about alternative protein and how they're very excited to be lean and healthy. But when it comes to tilapia, it's like, Gugu, what's this? And I'm having a challenge to do that. But what I'm realizing is that sometimes people might not embrace primary production, but they
Mm-hmm.
definitely embrace agro processing. So if I can take a step up with my business and start making fish pâtés and start making fish fillets, smoking my fish, that's when I start piquing people's interest with the market access. So with market access, I do my my own marketing. I try to be innovative as much as I can. We also have catfish on the farm that we're looking to agro process as well. So for me, market access has been social media, sending samples to people in terms of my produce, and I currently am building an online store to give you a whole aquaponics food box. So that is how I've managed thus far. And it's really working for me because I get to interact with consumers and I get to interact with the community as well. And they say to me, Gugu, hey, please grow more herbs. Or Gugu, hey, please, with the fish, can I just come with my cooler box and collect it myself? Or hey, Gugu, please try to add more of this type of lettuce. So I'm getting feedback as I continuously trial and test the market and push and try to introduce aquaponics produce to South Africa. So yeah, that's how it's been with me. And I think the more people take up aquaponics, the more people will start seeing aquaponics produce on the shop and it can start taking life on its own, because there's a lot of us. But currently, it's still a growing market in South Africa as well. So it's very important that you educate consumers. You have a relationship with your consumers to say, this is what I'm growing. Would you like me to grow more of this? Would you like me to grow less of this? How do you like your fish? Would you like me to debone? Would you like me to cull it and scale it off? Would you like to come on the farm and just collect it yourself and you can scoop it up? Because it's usually very exciting when people see fish. So yeah, that's how I've been running my operation.
Okay, that's amazing. It's good to hear your story so far. But let me ask okay, no, before I ask my next question, but let me quickly say this. Over time on this podcast, I've interviewed over 40 to 50 agri-tech founders, and one of the common challenges most of them face is funding. So I'm trying to see how I can bridge the gap between investors and agri-tech founders, because I think I'm having a vision that in the next 20 years, 30 years, I want to see a situation where agri-tech, or where smaller farmers can have access to agri-tech technologies or agricultural technology, so to say. So, and the only way for us to be able to do that is to see how we can bring investors closer to people like you, who are doing amazing stuff with agricultural technology, right? So I'm creating a community before the end of the month. We are creating a community called Agritech Exchange, Agritech Exchange Forum. Agritech Exchange Forum is going to be like a community that serves between investors and agritech founders who are doing amazing stuff, especially in Africa. Our key focus is Africa
Yeah.
and the US. We are really looking at Africa. We want to see a situation where agritech founders and investors should be in the room to have conversations. We want investors to hear people like you, people like other guys in the audience. So I'm saying to everyone who are in the audience, who are into agritech space, watch out for it. Follow us on all our social media platforms. We're going to announce it very soon in a way that we want to see a way that agritech founders and investors, we want to see how we can bridge that gap of that investment gap that agritech founders have, so that you people like you can be able to do more. We believe people, if you have fundings, if you are able to access fundings, you're able to do more. So please watch out for that. We're going to be announcing that before the end of the month. But moving on, let me just ask, if you're looking back, is there anything you think you would have done differently on your journey so far? Is there anything you think you would have done differently?
Is there anything I think I would have done differently? Probably collaborated more with
Mhm.
people, because sometimes, as a founder, it is a lonely journey. We all know this. And, you know, also with my personality type, sometimes I feel like, the best, if you want things done the right way, just do it yourself. And,
Mm.
farming is not a cycle. Farming is community, and farming is collaboration. Farming is growing together. So I think I would have leveraged on collaborations much more sooner. I've started, but I think that's something that I would have done much more sooner, to collaborate with people with more expertise than me, people with skills that I needed, and I think I would have asked for help a bit more. I think sometimes, when you try to start a business, you're really too much in your head, and you have your own vision as to how you want to do things. But maybe if you had asked for help, things would have accelerated. So I think looking back, I'm realizing that there's power in numbers. And as founders, we need to understand that, yes, we have our vision, but, it takes a team to execute. So I think I would have done that probably sooner.
Mm, that's good to hear. I'm happy to hear, guys. You guys can hear. Collaboration is the key. We don't in this space. I think I wrote about that last week. In this space, the key is collaboration. We don't compete. We collaborate. To partner to be able to go. All right. As we begin to wrap up this show today, I want to ask, what's your advice for people who are listening, for other young people who want to come into this space? What will be your advice to them? What do you think they should be doing? What's your advice to us? So to those of us who are listening, who you've inspired, they want to come into Aquaponics farm. What's your advice for us?
Just do it. Just do it. Sometimes you have this vision and you have this passion, and I'm speaking from experience. You have this vision, you have this passion, you want to do it, but you stay in your head a lot, and you think, but where will I start? What will I do? Where will I get this? Where will I get that? And before you can even execute anything, already you've put so many stumbling blocks, which are valid. But I learned through experience. And I think it has been the best thing for me thus far. If you want to grow garlic in aquaponics and they say, no, you can't grow garlic in aquaponics, it won't work because it's a root crop, it's a bulb. I did it. So you have to just, as an entrepreneur, always push boundaries, and you always have to start somewhere. I know a friend of mine, actually, she started her aquaponics farm. She stays in the rural areas, and she started her aquaponics farm in her backyard. Just a system that you can DIY. If you watch a YouTube video, you can go buy these materials at your local warehouse, and it can cost you a certain amount of money. But if you say you want to do it, just do it and learn for yourself and say, actually, this is where I'm stuck. And then reach out for help, because in my experience, people help you if you help yourself. So
Yeah.
that would be my advice to anyone. Yeah, just
Thank you.
get out of your head, just implement. Entrepreneurs are doers. So just do it. And when you are stuck, it's easy for you to reach out to the likes of Kenneth. You can reach out to me as well. And, if we see initiative, it's easy for me to be like, wow, this is so great. And I could probably even learn from you. And
Yeah.
we advise each other like that.
True.
So that's my advice to everyone. Yeah.
All right, Gagalit, thank you very much for your time. I mean, this was really, really good. It was really good. I believe a lot of comment has been flying. Thank you guys for joining this program today. It's really exciting to hear Gagalit's story so far. I've been really inspired by what you are doing in space. And then, I mean, especially because she's a lady, you could have done so many other things. A lot of people don't think, especially ladies, they don't think agriculture is for ladies. So it's more mannish or manly. People think it's for men, it's for guys, But we are seeing a lady disrupting the industry, and a beautiful lady at that, disrupting the industry, and that's really, really, really good. So, guys, the industry is wide, is open for both ladies and guys. The industry is not for guys alone; it's for both ladies and guys, and it's really interesting to have Gawaleti joining us today to share a story and her experience and challenges she has been through in the agri-tech sector. So it's on this note we're going to call it a day. Once again, thank you, Gavaletu, for joining me on this show to Agri-Tech Founders Diary. And guys, we promise to, I know we've taken a break, but we promise to keep it up, keep it moving on. So there are going to be a lot of guests coming on coming up, moving on. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are listening on podcast, do well to give us a good rate, and always wherever you are watching or listening to this podcast, do well to follow us, to keep in touch, so that you don't miss any of the episode. We promise to have a lot of new agri-tech founders who are doing amazing stuff on the space. We promise to have them on our show. So do it to stay in touch, either by subscribing on our YouTube channel or by clicking or registering or subscribing to our podcast on Spotify me, or following us on LinkedIn or Facebook, wherever you are watching from. Just do it to stick to the podcast. We promise to bring fresh episodes to you as always. So it's on this note, I'll call it a day. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Gugulethu, for your time so far, for sharing your experience with us today. We really, really appreciate it. We can see the excitement in the comment section while you were sharing your story. So it's on this note, we'll call it a day. Thank you for joining once again. Bye, everyone.